All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Rob Lewis, Clearfly. We're going to talk about ClearConnection, which is our marketplace, and we're featuring Allworx today. So John Yu is with us, and I'll do a quick little intro to him in a moment or a few minutes. But ClearConnection and this marketplace essentially really got started with Allworx. We currently have 3 distributors in ClearConnection that provide Allworx services. That's Vital, CTD, and Teledynamics. I'm sure you're all very familiar with all 3 entities. Okay, Vital happens to do a little bit more than CTD and Teledynamics. All right, but before I actually getting ahead of myself a little bit, for those that don't know what ClearConnection in the marketplace actually is, it's a venue to have Allworx and other companies as well the ability to offer their products in our portal. So you'd still get it from those distributors or manufacturers, whatever, okay? But they're in our portal. So when you go in and you build a quote for trunking, okay, you have the ability to add in those products. Those products are at essentially your cost, okay, on a recurring basis. Then you, as you add those products, you create the markup for those products. Okay, we bill, we collect, and we remit the taxes on those, and we pay you for that markup less the fee, and we pay the fee that the vendor, in this case Allworx, is charging. So as an example, without getting too in-depth here, if you are getting a starter kit, that price is coming through at $119. You would mark it up to $180, $200, $250, whatever you deem necessary. We'll bill it, collect it, and remit the taxes. We will fund CTD, Teledynamics, or Vital, and we fund you the margin on it. Okay? This way, it's all collected in one bundle, giving you the complete solution. Some of you are familiar with Paytech and Windstream and their IP Simple. It's a way of bundling everything together. So a customer gets one bill, and what people tend to want today is a recurring charge as opposed to a CapEx. They want that that not one-time hit at the CapEx, but recurring charges. So hopefully that's a pretty good, clear definition of it. All right. Vital happens to be a little different than CTD and Teledynamics in that CTD and Teledynamics has all of the VX licensing in our portal. So any VX that you want, you can do through us, through your distributor. Okay, we do not become the distributor; they're supplying it. Okay, Vital happens to add. Forgive me, I didn't mute my phone, and I should have. I'm going to do that now. And there we go. Okay. Vital happens to give you the opportunity to rent phones, switches, decks, so various things. Essentially, if there's something that you want to get and they distribute that product, they'll provide it to you at a rental. Even if it's not in the portal now, they can always add it. That's what they've been doing. Okay? All right. With that said, any questions before I do hand it off to John? All right. Then, without further ado, John Yu is with us. I'm sure you all know John well. He's a terrific support person. He's strong on sales and the technical component to it, so he gets you the complete package, and I'll leave it to him.
Oh, thanks, Rob.
No worries.
Appreciate it. All right. Welcome, folks. Again, my name is John Yu. I'm the national channel manager. Started off as a sales engineer for the West, channel manager for the West, and now assisting our partners nationwide along with our inside sales support, Mark Nacy, and as you know, Tom Elliott. All right. So we have a small group, but it is being recorded. We'll be sending these out to our partner community. So let's go ahead and give it a go. All right. Um, I'm sure you've seen this slide before. Um, I just wanted to go over the history of Allworx, since we do have some time. And Rob, as you know, I mean, we've had real good relationship with Clearfly for a very long time, as long as I can remember. They're a very reliable SIP provider. Now they're providing Clear Connection with the ability for our resellers to go to a portal. It's a one hand to shake. You can go in, price out everything, put your margins on it. Like Rob said, they'll remit taxes, so you're not liable for that. And then they'll make the payments to the respective distributors, and they'll hand off the margin to you guys. So in essence, you're creating your own UCaaS company, and that you own the customer and you have those customers at arm's length at all times. All right. Just briefly about Allworx. The company was founded in 98. That's almost 26 years now. I think I've been here more than half of that. I think 14, 15 years. In 2003, the first Allworx installation was done, and in 2007, we were acquired by a Fortune 500 company, Paytech, and that was acquired by Windstream back in 2011. The reason why we have Windstream still on the slide is because they still, buy and rent Allworx equipment. So they used to pair their services with our equipment, and they're still getting tens of millions of dollars in revenue every month. So there's still a lot of those customers out there. So if you do come across any of them, according to our agreement, those equipment belong to Allworx, so we can always convert them to, VX or any, billable equipment. So for rental, so we can convert over to that as well. Okay. Um, in 2021, we've broke off of Windstream. And in 2021, we introduced the VX Cloud, which is our software as a service. And as you know, it's this, Allworx, you've done it for a long time. It supports, up to 250 users per server. I don't want to go too technical on this presentation, but it does. The VX mimics the Connect 731 software, so it does support up to 250 user extensions per instance, and you can multi-site them as well. The beauty of the VX is you can multi-site any current locations with Connect servers to the VX, whether it's a backup, whether it's a new customer. So you can do that as well. And supporting up to 3,950 total extension. Of that, 1,975 is user extensions. Okay. We're based out of New York. We'll go ahead and go through that. All right. As you know, Allworx is SIP 2.0 from day one. Okay. And what that means to everybody in the reseller channel is there is no requirement or need for intermediary gateways. So you don't need to transcode one protocol to another. It's just SIP in, SIP out. So any IP endpoint will just work, just like it would on a Connect server on a VX as well. So VX, we just moved over our software to the cloud. It is our private cloud where we create, VX SaaS instance per customers. So we're not on a multi tenant where if we upgrade one server, it doesn't affect every customer. It only affects that customer. And we schedule those updates, during after hours or a certain time of day or, time that they want these updates to be pushed out. Okay. It is Allworx managed and supported. So once the sales process would be, you do your, due diligence and get all the questionnaire. You build the quote and the invoice from ClearConnection portal, and then you order the equipment. It is drop shipped or however you want to deploy them, and then if you have any post day two support, day one support, you can always call Allworx for support, right? So those VX instances are fully redundant. We do support 5 nines SLA. They are backed up locally every hour, and then they're backed up daily off-site as well. And it's multi-cluster network. So that's done. You've seen this slide before. Some of our customers out there, Brookdale being one of the largest customers we have. I believe we have about 1,500 locations. So if you see one out there, they're most likely on Windstream IP Simple. So if you can approach them, I know they're bought. Some of the locations were bought out by different senior living management company. So if you approach them and you want to convert them to something that you can build through Clearfly, you can absolutely do that. Okay, you've seen the servers. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but we can still do Connect server just as the VX we could, and the phones as well, right? Through ClearConnection.
You can, again, I'm not trying to give preferential treatment to Vital. Okay, I'm not. All three companies are wonderful companies. Vital happens to be the most aggressive in trying to gain your business. CTD and Teledynamics do not offer the Connect server as a premise-based solution as a recurring rental charge. If you wanted to do that, you'd have to actually purchase from them, and then in the unified billing, charge the customer as a recurring charge. The whole point of ClearConnection is that you guys don't have to spend the money to acquire that equipment. Okay, that's why Vital is doing the premise-based system, the VX, and the phones, and peripheral stuff if need be. So yes, you can do it, but it needs to be through Vital. Otherwise, you're purchasing the server and then renting it to the customer and getting your ROI back, hopefully within 10 or 12 months. And then that's when you start making your money.
Right.
In the ClearConnection, when it is a true rental, your ROI is month 1, your out-of-pocket expense is 0.
Fantastic. Okay, right. Maybe, first, couple systems, first 5 systems, you can, upfront the cost, but once you get to a larger number, it's going to be very difficult. So, if you want to do, like Rob said, if you want to get ROI, within the first month, then I think at this point, Vital is the only distributor that offers that. All right, the phones rental, I'll go over this. I'll skip through all that. We talked about multi-site, SLA. The 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 admin UI on the Connect server and the VX is almost identical. So you don't there's no new learning curve. If you're used to the Connect server UI, then you'll be comfortable with the VX UI. As when managing this whole thing, the billing, the procurement, all that stuff, ClearConnection can do. But managing is another thing, or supporting the customer is another thing. And when it comes to support, my Allworx Manager page is still available through your browser. So if you go through after you go through the training, have the users go to the portal. It's just the IP address of the server, or the public IP or the private, no port number. They just log in with their username and password, and they can see all those. They can change their call routes if they are permitted to. They can change their presence, program their reach link, see the directory, and the phone function, most importantly. So you can print out the reference card as well, whether it's a 9200 or 9300 series phone. Okay, and it gives you instructions on how to transfer a call, how to check voicemails and things like that. And this kind of makes it easy for the end user to go and refer back to these. All right. Just on the VX quickly. Once you're deploying phones on VX instance, because those phones are all now remote phones, it does require the boot server IP, the NTP time server, and then the plug and play secret key. So because they're remote phones, you can create network profile templates and put all that information in there, apply it to handset preference group, and then just go to bulk edit and then apply it to all the phones. Then that profile will be stored onto the phones. So even if it does restart or if it loses connection somehow, it blows it out. It will still do the reboot and register to the VX. So it's another way of simply if you have 100 handsets, maybe you can do it yourself. But if you have 1,000 handsets that you need to support, these are some of the tricks you can do to support these customers. All right. And everything. Again, just a little Allworx benefit statement. We've been around for 26 years, award-winning business class VoIP communication system from premise-based to the cloud now. All the basic PBX features. So if you're replacing, the Toshibas or the Panasonic NECs, Allworx is a great option when it comes to replacing apples to Apple on a premise base, or apples to banana if you wanted to push the cloud as well. Okay. I've been with other companies before, but Allworx offers the lowest cost of ownership because if you purchase the Allworx Connect servers, those are perpetual license. If you do VX, it comes out to per user about $2 with a base instance, and Allworx takes care of all the support mechanism. Okay. Other than that, yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I have a comment to add,
Yeah.
John.
Go ahead, Rob.
When John was talking about the username and password, IP address, and the like, if you actually were to send a technician out on site or was out on site somewhere else and they needed to get into a particular an account, you'd have the ability to have that technician go right into the portal in Clearfly. And when you're in the portal under Clearfly, go into that account under Marketplace, and you can actually see all those credentials. You'd get or be able to pull the IP address, username, and password of that particular account. So the technician really wouldn't need anything or have anything or be forced to have something configured for a VPN access or something of that nature. They can get into that box.
Oh, fantastic.
One of the big benefits of ClearConnection is all of this, all your notes can go right into our portal, so you can look back at some of the history, some of the things that were done. One of the other things that you'll be able to pull is all the serial numbers. So if a particular customer has a phone that's not working, you can actually look at all the serial numbers right in our portal. And from that listing, you'd see whether that phone was actually one that was provided by you guys. If it wasn't, obviously what did they do? They went on to eBay or Amazon or somewhere and found the phone, plugged it in, it's not working, and now they're looking for you to set it up for them. So it's your way of kind of doing some checks and balances. But you'll have a complete history of all of it, which makes it nice. Sorry, John.
No, you're good. That's very helpful because, yeah, they can just go to ClearConnection and add notes while during deployment, and all that will be available to the technician if they, forget the login credentials for the server. Perfect.
I think most of you guys were on the first session that we had for ClearConnection, and in there I was talking about money. Anytime I have an Allworx partner talk to me and they tell me they're selling this and they need to get SIP trunks, I ask them. I said, have you considered doing the VX and charging the customer as a recurring? And then I kind of go through the numbers, the dollars and cents of it all, and how much money they can make. And that I talked about, I think it was on the 17th. You do make significantly more money this way than if you just sell it as a CapEx, and it puts yourself in a better position. So I know I keep stressing it, but we have partners out there that are billing quite a lot in recurring revenue, and they did it They did it essentially the old-fashioned way, where they just added those line items as unified billing and purchased the stuff. In this case, you can do that same thing, or if you are stuck on money and you don't have the cash flow to buy the equipment, ClearConnection is really where it comes into place. And the more and more you do, the better off you are. And if you continually pay for the equipment, over time that works out. But it does deplete your cash flow for a significant amount of time. So ClearConnection comes in as a nice benefit. Okay, and for good, bad, and different, customers have gotten used to this because the industry is driven by that recurring revenue today. And everybody's pretty much pricing everything out as an OPEX, not a CAPEX.
Rob and John, we have 3 questions from Shane at TVC. The first one is, can other than Verge phones be used?
Yes. So for VX, oh, I'm sorry, for ClearConnection or for VX?
No, for the Allworx, the VX.
Right. So VX SaaS instance will support 9100 series, 9200 series, and the Verge phone as well. So if you have any 9100 series, it will still work.
But they need to be Allworx.
Yeah. So if I may, and forgive me, John, speaking for you.
No.
You can use any SIP generic phone. I mean,
correct.
Allworx actually has licensing for generic devices. Okay, but one of the best things about Allworx is their proprietary phone. You get so much with those phones, and I said to people going back 18, 19 years ago, if you want to get an Allworx 6X or 24X, and you want to just use generic phones, all the benefit is gone. So can you do it as a courtesy phone here and there? Of course. But the core of the phones really should be Allworx, because that's where the big benefit comes from.
And then the second question along the same lines is, what is the Verge management portal like?
So the web UI for the phones, you can type in the IP address of the phones, but so if it's on a VX, you won't be able to go into that phone's UI because it's behind their LAN. So you would have to either remote into a desktop that's on a local network and then log in through there using the phone's phone admin password, or for Verge phone, you can go to the VX or the Connect server under reports, go to the phones and download the logs from it or request logs from the server side. So that's one thing you can do. But if you wanted to change, intercom auto answer for the customer remotely, then you would need access to the computer or something that's on a local LAN.
And with that question, I'm not sure if that was what you were asking, then clearly John answered it. If it was more in a line of is the interface of the VX the same as the Connect servers, they're essentially the same interface.
Right. So if you're talking about the server UI, then it's almost identical. Only thing is with the VX, there is no analog connectivity, so there's no FXO or FXS programming. Other than that, it looks pretty identical.
And then he has one last question, and that really is more towards Rob. What does the dashboard look like? And Shane, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're asking about the ClearConnection dashboard.
And I didn't realize I can unmute myself. Sorry, gentlemen. Yes, on that one, the dashboard for the phone, traditionally at that point, when we were selling it, we have a dashboard that can control the phone via the computer. So it's a user dashboard.
Oh, so my Allworx is what you're talking about.
I'm not familiar with the Allworx solution, so that's why I was wondering what it looked like. And I don't want to hold everybody's time up, but we can talk offline too.
No, the more, as far as I'm concerned, the more questions, the better, because then everybody gets an education, because somebody may not have thought about it or asked. So I encourage questions. John, you want to answer that?
Right. So you can't do it from the ClearConnection portal. On the support side for the phones, like I said, Shane, so, currently you do have to get to that LAN IP address of the phone. So we would need either an RDP session to the local network or something in that area.
So that'd be you're still thinking of the management portal. This would be more of a user dashboard. I want to see Mary, Tom, John, Sally, Johnny, their status, click to transfer, click to send a voicemail, things of your user dashboard.
So that's not okay. So just terminology is a little different.
Got it.
One of the things that Allworx has, and this is again John's area, not mine, but I know the product because I was there a long time. Is Interact,
Right.
and Interact is basically an app on your computer, tablet, whatever, and you can see, transfer calls, check your voicemail messages, all of those types of things. See who's on the phone, who's not on the phone, who's in do not disturb, who's unplugged, any of those scenarios. Park calls. So yes, you have all of that.
Okay, perfect. And then back to the management portal, where you're going, John, is what I was thinking, but that's where I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's an alternate brand that has their YMCS portal that allows us to manipulate and manage the phones and see its status and reboot. And it's a very powerful management tool. In this case, it sounds like we would have to log in and get to the GUI of the phone in order to manage the phone. There's not a portal to manage multiple phones at.
Actually, Shane, and on the server side, whether it's a Connect server or VX, in the handsets page, it'll list all of the handsets that are registered to that instance or to the premise-based server, and from there, a lot of the programming is done. So you can request reboot, you can delete, you can modify, you can change the caller ID information. Only thing you can't do is the phone functions, like being ability to remotely turn off maybe intercom auto answer, or remotely disabling keypad on the phone. Those require that you either do it from the handset or get to the phone's UI to change those. But first part of your question was, being able to see what phone belongs to what user, modify the users, modify caller ID information, changing the name, requesting reboot. That all can be done from the server side.
Gotcha. And that's the server. If it's cloud, I'm guessing it would be the same. You just log into the cloud
Correct.
server.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So once the VX is created, you'll be provided a unique password, and then the FQDN and the public IP address. So everything is assigned to each customer, and you'll go in, program it, register the phones, and once you're ready, you change the admin password, and that belongs to you. And then if you have customers that want, some phone, permission to change, modify names, then you can assign an office manager or the owner of the company phone admin permission, and they can do everything on the phone side, but can't touch the network nor change the native admin's password.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Other questions or comments or anything regarding what John has shared or that I've shared with you guys today?
Rob, if I may, just one last note.
Absolutely.
Right. To just build on top of what Rob said, the industry has changed. Everything's, turned into a recurring model. We have, about 1,200 resellers across the country. Some of them, looking to retire or have retired. They're converting a lot of their customers using the Clear Connection to, build a recurring model for themselves. And for existing, partners that may be looking to sell the company, great that they're doing $10 million a year in revenue, but um, you know, I think the banks are now looking at, or the investors are looking at the recurring revenue. If you hit a downturn, how many customers and what's the revenue that's committed to your company. So they look at that and evaluate the company. So there's a lot of that stuff going on in this industry. So it's a good opportunity for you to increase that recurring revenue through Clear Connection with Allworx. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm done, Rob.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, John's very available most of the time. I mean, not in a positive way. I wasn't trying to make a joke. And you certainly have us with anything as far as questions on our portal or Clear Connection. We're happy to answer those questions. So contact Bob or Charles or Tina or Chris or myself, any of us. We're here to help, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.